now is Jim Brewer, the owner of Maggie's Restaurant and Pub. Jim, not only are you the owner of Maggie's Restaurant and Pub, you are the brainchild of the Oyster Stroll. We are in our at the second annual Oyster Stroll today. Tell me about the differences from last year, the first, to this year, the second.
Well, last year we tried to control it a little bit differently, so we had people buying tickets to go get oysters and spread the money out. This year you buy directly from the oyster vendor. All the oysters that are being shucked are $1 a shuck, and then the restaurants are engaged and the oyster vendors are engaged. And if there's cooked oysters, they're charging varying prices. But that way it keeps the lines down and keeps people flowing through the city pretty well. And so that was the biggest change this year, is to try and simplify it for everybody that was engaged, whether they were the customers or whether they were just the people selling the oysters.
Okay, that sounds great. And I'm telling you, I looking up and down the streets today, even though it's a little rainy, a little gloomy, there's a lot of smiling faces around here. And I know you, Jim, I know your brain is already moving for next year. What changes or improvements or anything can we look forward to for next year?
Well, I think next year we'll engage some things a little bit earlier so we can get a little bit better marketing spread and get a little bit more with the marketing of the individual people that are involved with the event. This year we were a little bit behind the 8 ball. We were a little late in getting some things accomplished, but lessons learned, and next year we get to do what we do.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I've already met people here from North Dakota and from South Carolina. So I think you did pretty good on the marketing end as far as that. All I know is it's always a pleasure to spend time with you. We love the fact that you created this Oyster Stroll to bring more attention to the downtown Westminster businesses and to what downtown Westminster is all about. It's a welcoming community for everyone, the businesses up and down, people strolling and eating oysters. Jim, thank you.
Well, I think the unique part about this is we're out in a landlocked community, and this is something we can do out in the central Maryland to help restore the bay. We're doing this in conjunction with the Coastal Conservation Association. We expect to go through 15,000 farm-raised oysters today, of which 300,000 spats will be put back in the bay in the artificial reef to help filter the bay. And we need to be taking care of the bay now, because if we don't take care of it, future generations won't be having that pleasure.
That is wonderful. So again, way out here in Northern Carroll County, we're helping our friends down on the shore. We're helping the waterways and making it happen.
We're doing our part to make sure the bay's around for a long time and is very sustainable, and people will be able to fish and have the aquaculture and all the things that are taking place in the bay for a long, long time. And we're just being a part of it. We're just one part of it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Jim
you.
Brewer, Maggie's Restaurant and Pub.
Have fun.
Making my way through the downtown Westminster Oyster Stroll, I've run into two men who are very near and dear to my heart. First, Steve Pasinius, the owner of the Artisan Wine Company, who has a beautiful stand out here today, partnering with my husband, Ken Lurie, owner of Buds at Silver Run. Steve, I know you were a part of this last year. There's been a couple of changes to the organization this year on how things are happening. Are you finding that that's working out good for you this year?
Absolutely. It's much better. It seems to be running smoother, and everybody's responsible for their own money.
Okay, well, money's always good. It's good to be responsible for your money. And partnering with Ken from Buds at Silver Run, I know you two are great friends, so how do you feel about that?
No, it's going to be great. You know, Ken's always done a great job at Buds, and it's great to have him downtown taking care of the oysters.
Okay, and Ken, now you've got your customers to volunteer to be here today. Is that correct?
We've got a couple of our customers to help us out down here, back here shucking oysters and doing a great job for us. Rusty Collins and our waiter, Dan.
Okay, so great. So you like being a part of the downtown Westminster atmosphere. Is that correct?
Absolutely. It's nice being included in this downtown Westminster stroll, even though we're not in Westminster itself.
Okay, great. So you heard it here. You have two local restaurants working together to make this event great for both of them. Gentlemen, thank you both so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Brooke.
Let's go stroll.
You know it.
Okay, just to show you that the downtown Westminster Oyster Stroll isn't just about oysters, I'm here with Bill Schaefer from Lone Star Barbecue, who is one of the newer businesses in the downtown Westminster corridor. He's offering today buck-a-shuck oysters as well as
pulled pork and brisket sandwiches.
Awesome, awesome. So this is amazing. I've had Bill's pulled pork and his brisket before, but I'm thinking that today I'd like to get a combo. Can I do that?
You can get a squeal and bull, and you can also get that at our restaurant as well. That's a mixture of brisket and pork on the sandwich.
Awesome. Okay, so the Downtown Westminster Oyster Stroll, not just about the oysters, it's about new businesses getting their name out there. Talk to me about how business has been going for you guys so far. You're just over a year?
Just over a year, about a year and a half, and it's been going very well. The people of Westminster have really accepted us, and they're starting to, really start packing our restaurant at times. So.
Okay, and I know Westminster is becoming known for all of these strolls that they're doing.
Right.
Are you loving all of the strolls as a business owner?
We do, and we do a brisket stroll as well out here, and the brisket stroll, the oyster stroll, and we sell our brisket and our pork at both of them, and it's actually a barbecue stroll, not a brisket stroll, but we sell our brisket and our pork at the barbecue stroll.
Okay, well, I'm going to bite into my non-oyster stroll food, which is amazing. Yep, Lone Star Barbecue. Not only do they have amazing briskets and barbecue, they've got this hot, handsome man as an owner and beautiful Buckashuck oysters. Can't wait to see you back here next year.
Thank you.
The Downtown Westminster Oyster Stroll is not just about eating oysters, it's about the oyster and where the oyster comes from. I'm joined now by Mr. Campanelli, who is a Mason instructor at the Carroll County Career and Tech Center. He's been there for 12 years, he tells me. Mason instructor, and what they're doing today is they're creating reef balls. Can you tell me a little bit about what a reef ball is, how you got involved with this project, and what it means to the oyster farmers of the Chesapeake Bay?
Well, the reef balls are deployed in Chesapeake Bay after they have been injected with some oyster spat, which are oyster eggs, and they are probably put into a gestive period of about, I'm going to say maybe a week or so, before they're actually dropped into the Chesapeake Bay. The Coastal Conservation Association of Maryland got involved with us. They contacted Carroll County Public Schools, and then, of course, they were directed to the Masonry program over at the Carroll County Career and Technology Center, where the Masonry program was proud to be a part of this magnificent project to help with the restoration of the oyster population. It's right up our alley. It was something we do in our curriculum, of course, mixing concrete. As you can see behind us, our students are working hard, mixing some concrete by hand. It's something we did already, so we were happy to be a part of it. And what it means to the Chesapeake Bay is a revitalization of the oyster population, where one reef ball can build the population of 2,000 oysters. And we're doing upwards of near 300 reef balls so far.
Wow, wow. So just today, we heard Jim Brewer earlier today talking about the fact that we're going through 15,000 oysters today. We hear these numbers. So obviously, Carroll County is doing an awful lot to help out the Chesapeake Bay. Students that are here with you today, tell me about these guys. Are juniors, seniors?
Well, we have Chris Schilling from South Carroll High School, and we have Daniel from Winters Mill High School. He's part of the building maintenance program, I might want to add. building maintenance has been teaming up with masonry to work in conjunction to take on a lot of the work. It's a tremendous amount of work that we really take on with a lot of passion. So building maintenance and masonry together have been a big part of what Carroll County Public Schools is asking from those guys.
Wow, I think this is wonderful. We're getting our students involved, so they're learning about how important it is for us to help everyone around the state with making what are, they call Maryland America in miniature, and today, right now, my conversation is proving that Northern Carroll County students helping out the oyster farmers of the Chesapeake Bay. Mr. Campanelli, I want to thank you so much for your time today. We're going to take a few more shots of these guys making these amazing reef balls.
So glad you could be with us.
I think I want one from my garden. I'm all the way down Main Street now, and I've run into Carroll County's newest restaurant owners, or Westminster's newest restaurant owners, Susan and Lee Nardis. Susan and Lee Nardis. I can't believe I just forgot that. But they're opening a new place called the Rock Salt Grill, seafood themed, Maryland colors, lots of oysters. Still gonna have some wings and burgers and fries and such. But boy howdy, is downtown Westminster excited for you. Tell me, how did this all come about, young lady?
Well, we've been working on it for a few years, actually. Been talking to Harry for quite some time. Things weren't quite right, over the past few years, and then he reached out to us maybe a few months ago and said, hey, let's just make this happen. And so we put our heads together, and along with some friends, and got some investors, and now we're making it happen. So yeah.
Okay, great. So Lee, talk to me about. I know you got your next step coming, the liquor board hearing coming up, and give me an anticipated opening date.
Well, we're looking to open mid-November. We're going to have some soft openings and hope to be open mid-November. But things are coming along real well and got a lot of support, a lot of buzz in the town. So it's going to be a great idea, a great concept. Fresh fish, sustainability. We're all about the environment, and you're not going to get a fresher filet or oyster in town here.
Okay, terrific. And again, the oyster stroll being today, what a great kickoff for you. How has the turnout been for you today?
Turnout's been great. I mean, despite the weather, I think everyone's prepared for it. The vendors were prepared. So I think we're really happy with the turnout, and the city has been behind us, the whole way, and look for more stuff out of us to get involved with the city and the chamber, and just lots of fun activities here.
Fantastic. Well, I know as a restaurant owner myself, I am very excited to bring another place into the fold and cannot wait to try your amazing oysters. And thank you, Oyster Stroll, for letting us introduce the Rock Salt Grill today. I'm at the Jeannie Bird Baking Company now with Bernie Vogel and Cody, who is savory soup master of the universe, from what I understand. Bernie, Jeannie Bird Baking Company. How did Jeannie Bird Baking Company get involved with the Oyster Stroll today?
Well, it's a downtown activity, and the Jeannie Bird Baking Company has been a big supporter of any of the downtown activities. Anything we can do to get more people downtown, the better it is for everybody.
Okay, that's great. And now, Cody, did you come up with the menu for today?
For the oyster side, yes. For the inside thing, the Thai oyster stew is something that Jeannie did last year, so we did it again this year. I just figured we had a couple oysters extra to do some baked, so did some baked oysters.
Okay, how did you do your baked oysters?
Baked oysters they got some bacon, onion, marmalade on them, and some sage biscuits that we made up and just crumbled them on top. So it comes out, you got all the sweet and juiciness from the bacon marmalade.
Oh my gosh.
Hitting with the salt of the oyster.
That sounds amazing, and obviously the reason why we're out of them right now. So we're hoping to get some more oysters back here at the Jeannie Bird Baking Company. I love the fact that you incorporated Jeannie's recipes from last year. Very near and dear to all of our hearts. And Bernie, I want to thank you for continuing on with this amazing company that you and your beautiful wife started. I'm with Mike Whistle now of the Coastal Conservation Association of Maryland. Mike, I have to tell you, this has been an amazing day for the Community Media Center to be out here. We've had a little bit of bad weather. We've had some drizzle, a little bit of rain. But this whole event today has been wonderful. And I know that the CCA partnered with, Jim Brewer was a big part of this. Obviously, you're a big part of this. Can you tell me how it all came to be, the CCA of Maryland, and then the partnership with Westminster?
Sure. Well, CCA Maryland, which is again Coastal Conservation Association of Maryland, is part of a national nonprofit organization, marine conservation group that likes to promote, enhance, and give access to our marine resources. And we started a local chapter here in Westminster, Carroll County, about 2 years ago. And this is largely an agricultural community, but we can still do our part to help save the bay, to help our marine resources. There's a lot of people here in this particular area that use the bay, whether it's for boating or swimming or fishing like we like to do. So most of us are recreational fishermen that know that in order to have good fishing in the bay, you need to have good habitat, you need to have clean water. And that's what CCA is all about, is promoting conservation and clean water and quality in the bay and quality of our resources.
Wow, I've said this to everybody I've talked to today. I love the partnership with the downtown Westminster businesses, with Westminster, Maryland government, with the school system. Earlier we saw the young men making the reef balls. Fantastic and a nice turnout. I love the fact that you're a volunteer.
Right.
You're doing this because you like to fish. You're a Westminster man, but you like to go down to the shore, so you know that you need to help that out.
Right.
So.
And that's exactly it. And last year we started this whole program. It started out by just recycling oyster shells at the local restaurants and bars and oyster roasts and things like that. And people didn't realize that you could recycle oyster shells. You could put new oyster spat, baby oyster on them, put them back in the bay, and they'll grow. So every oyster you eat can make 10 new oysters if done properly and put back into the bay. So we started recycling the oyster shell, and we got the attention of Jim from Maggie's and the Downtown Westminster Coalition. And last year they decided that they wanted to start a Second Saturday event based on the oyster and really spreading awareness of recycling oysters, what we can do here in a largely agricultural community to help the bay. So
That's wonderful. Mike Whistle, I want to thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for teaching those of us who didn't know these things about all of this. We look forward to many more oyster strolls in the future.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Even with all the rain, the clouds, a little bit of dreary weather, it has been a wonderful day at the second annual Downtown Westminster Oyster Stroll. We're working in conjunction with the Coastal Conservation Association. We've had a wonderful day. We've seen local businesses working together. We've met new business owners. We've met semi-new business owners. But I think to me the highlight of the day was talking with the young men from the Carroll County Career and Tech Center and how their efforts of making reef balls and working with the CCA is helping the Chesapeake Bay. So it just goes to show everyone that out here in Northern Carroll County, we can help save the bay. My name is Brooke Haggerty, and I'm with the Community Media Center today. Thanks for joining us.